What is poppin' YouTube? Back again with another video. Right now, we are dropping a ton of content on the channel, so hit that subscribe button if you are new. We want you around creating the best fantasy football community ever. We are talking through waiver wire ads for week 2. You know, some of us were down bad this week, and we're needing to replenish our rosters ASAP due to injury, due to players like Drake London absolutely putting up duds on our roster. So let's dive into it. The first question that you're gonna have to come up to is, with J.K. Dobbins' injury, who are you adding? Because Gus Edwards is probably on your waiver wire. Justice Hill is definitely on your waiver wire. But is that going to be the answer for the Baltimore Ravens? And I think that's the hard question to know, because we love to have one of these options. I don't care if you're just a jag, just another guy, just an average running back. Being able to have that ability in the Baltimore Ravens offense is enough for me to want to have you on my roster week in and week out. But the question that I would have to ask is, okay, if we're going to rush to the waiver wire to put in our ask for Gus Edwards, for Justice Hill, are we not sure that they're going to not go out and go look at Lenny Fournette or look at a Kareem Hunt? I think Kareem Hunt is probably the best fit here for the Baltimore Ravens. So before I rush to the waivers to get a Gus Edwards or Justice Hill, I might play it cool. I mean, if I had to choose one, I'm choosing Justice Hill. He looked a lot more explosive than Gus Edwards did, but I still think the answer is going to come from somewhere outside of the Baltimore Ravens' current organization. So sad for J.K. Dobbins. Sad as an Ohio State fan, this probably puts J.K. Dobbins' career definitely on a terrible arc. If I had to do it for fantasy football purposes, we are looking elsewhere. My second running back ad that I'd be looking to target this week is Tyler Allgeier. Now, as much as we've been excited for Bijan Robinson, seeing those splits, those about 50-50 splits with Tyler Allgeier, but he got the 2 goal line touches where he scored those 2 touchdowns and had 20 more rushing yards this last week. I can't in a world say that Tyler Allgeier is going to eventually not rescind a lot of those carries, a lot of those upside opportunities to Bijan. But for the current moment right now, Tyler Allgeier is an RB2. And so once we consider the fact that no other position like Kyle Pitts and Drake London just really aren't going to be startable in this Arthur Smith offense, which is so sad to say because I've been in on Kyle Pitts. I love some Drizzy Drake all offseason. We have to realize that Tyler Allgeier, Bijan Robinson, only 2 guys that you could start week in and week out. Go see what you can do to get Tyler Allgeier, because the worst case scenario, having 2 guys in an efficient running offense, that's great. But all of a sudden, if an injury happens to Bijan, which God forbid an injury happens to either of them, you have the other one as the handcuff. It also provides a weekly flex to middling RB2 type upside, which is super exciting on your fantasy roster. Moving on to some wide receiver additions. If you're really down bad with Drake London and DJ Moore as your main 2 wide receivers, you're probably going to have to go looking at the waiver wire. And the first guy that everyone's going to be looking at this week is Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp of BYU. My man comes out and just absolutely balls. In the first half, had like a 50% target share, put up 21 fantasy points in PPR with 10 receptions for 119 yards. I mean, what are we saying? He had 15 targets. That's a crazy target share for Puka Nacua. Now, we were talking about the wide receivers. So it was Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson, Puka Nacua. I mean, if Cooper Kupp comes back in, is Puka Nacua getting 15 targets? I don't think so, but I wouldn't say that Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp on the same field, that's going to look bad for the Rams. I think that could be super exciting. I think they definitely found a gem in the draft. So if I feel good about my running backs, and even if I had an extra spot, Puka Nacua is a guy I'm taking a shot on. We've seen the wide receivers in the Rams that have absolutely blown up, like Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, have sustained success. So go see what it's going to take in the waiver wire to go add some Puka Nacua if you need some wide receiver help. My second wide receiver that I'd be looking to target is Rashid Shaheed. I was worried about Shaheed because of Michael Thomas, because of Chris Olave, but we did know Derek Carr definitely loved to throw the ball deep. But Shaheed, I think, gets forgotten about because of all the attention that Michael Thomas draws and Chris Olave does going on the other side. Rashid Shaheed was open for a lot of bombs down the field, where he had 5 receptions for 89 yards and 1 tutty and 6 total targets. Kind of a big bomb threat in regards to targets, but he was able to capitalize. And so if you need a flyer, especially in a flex on a given week, Rashid Shaheed would be someone that I'm potentially looking to target. We're going to go back to another running back, because I feel like running back waiver wire ads, that's always who we're kind of talking about. Cam Akers is dead, ladies and gentlemen, and it's very sad to say, but Kyren Williams, who for all intents and purposes, no one liked coming in as a rookie because of his slow 40 time. We never thought he'd see the field. Had 15 carries for 52 yards and 2 total touchdowns. Seemed very dependent, seemed really reliable in the red zone. Wasn't amazing. I mean, looked essentially like Zach Moss out there. But when you're getting the volume of carries, you get 15 carries, and he also caught 2 receptions. That's enough for us to kind of take a watch and say, cool. So if I'm a Cam Akers owner, I'm instantly going to grab Kyren Williams. I'm not saying you drop Cam Akers necessarily. We need to see it for another week. But Kyren Williams is definitely the RB1 currently right now for the Rams. As much as we thought that the Rams offense wasn't going to look good, they just won their first game. And if they're going to be getting up, if Puka Nacua is going to be the real deal, if Van Jefferson can continue to step up, and you still have Tutu Atwell with Matty Stafford until Cooper Kupp comes back, Kyren Williams might be in some pretty good games. And if he's in some pretty good game scripts, it's going to mean some fantasy points. So Kyren Williams would be another one that I'm currently targeting on waivers. And my last guy to talk about potentially for a waiver wire, I don't love it, is Kendrick Bourne. This Patriots offense, we've been making fun of it all offseason. Mac Jones, Juju Smith-Schuster, you had Zeke Elliott, the washed up Zeke, Ramondre in the backfield. We were like, come on, How is this going to work out? Well, Kendrick Bourne kind of took over that underrated Jacoby Myers role that we've been talking about, but with 6 catches for 64 yards and 2 total touchdowns, he had himself a day. That man, Kendrick Bourne, had himself a day. And now, as much as I say I like Shaheed a little bit more than Kendrick Bourne if I were to be adding somebody, because I just don't know how sustainable this New England offense is. But if Mac Jones has taken this next step, he was able to get settled down in the second half versus the Eagles and almost win it for the Patriots, I'll take a shot on Kendrick Bourne, especially in these deeper roster leagues where you do need some waivers. Now, like I said, you got to be a little bit where you cannot be dropping your studs for some of these guys. Keep your studs. If you have studs, we're watching them for the next few weeks. Am I starting to panic on a guy like Drake London? Yes, I am. We're going to wait for one more week before we do anything rash, because that's the worst thing you could do. Make a rash decision. But with these waiver wires, go see if you can get one of them. I know waivers are going to be popping off tomorrow, so make sure you go check into that. Tomorrow, we will be putting out a trade for video, so make sure you tune into that. Hit subscribe on the channel. We're going to be answering all your start sits, going to be providing all the fantasy football analysis you could ever need. Appreciate you tuning in the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.